Ego lifting has become a tired trope for easy clicks. On every corner of social media, there seems to be somebody lamenting its evils, but when I look around the gym, the fact of the matter is, I don't really see an issue that's all that prevalent. Sure, you get the occasional dudes who load 1,500 pounds onto the leg press, bend their knees 1/4 of a degree, and then shout and scream like they just slayed the giant. But in the real world, these guys are not as prolific as the internet seems to want you to think. They garner the majority of the attention and infamy, yet they make up only a tiny minority within the gym-going population. The real demon is not these ego lifters. The real demon is much more insidious than this, and much more prolific, living in the shadows, going unnoticed right underneath of your nose, robbing many people, perhaps even you, of your gains. It's not ego lifting, but rather it is gains anxiety. Many people are simply afraid to make gains. They are afraid to get bigger, and they are afraid to get stronger, and they're afraid to put in the effort required to accomplish these things because they believe deep down to their core that their body is so fragile that it simply cannot handle this process without breaking or becoming injured. People with gains anxiety repeatedly hear these tired tropes about ego lifters in the gym, and they internalize these narratives deep down to their very core. They think, gasp, I can't let myself become one of these people. How embarrassing would it be to be an ego lifter and end up being featured on the front page of the internet, all thanks to my insecurities and the need to assuage my frail ego by lifting weights that I can't actually lift. So instead, they use narratives like this, these popular narratives, as an excuse to stay small and weak forever. You don't want to push too hard, or you might end up ego lifting, right? So every tiny aberration or slight grind leads them back to a deload with the empty bar, where everything is comfortable and everything is safe. You got to make sure that everything is absolutely perfect before you put any weight on the bar. You got to account for every single detail and every single variable that you may possibly encounter along the trail before you actually, embark onto the trail. Ego lifting becomes the excuse for people with gains anxiety to try less hard. But trying too hard is not a problem that most people have. To be fair, some people do, sure, and I have worked with many of these people myself, and keeping them reeled in can be quite challenging, but in my experience, this is uncommon. Much more common is people who are not willing to try hard enough, not being willing to put in the effort required because of laziness or fear or a flat-out unwillingness to do so, or just some combination of these things. And then there's already a very convenient built-in excuse to rationalize this behavior away. Well, I couldn't possibly add more weight to the bar or do another rep. What if my bar path deviates by 1 millimeter, or I cut the ROM on the rep ever so slightly? Then I would be an ego lifter, and it's much better to err on the side of being safe rather than becoming an ego lifter, even if that means that I stay small and weak forever. Never mind the fact that the people who are true ego lifters generally dwarf these people anyway. It's gains anxiety, man. These people are scared to make gains. They are scared to get bigger and stronger because that would mean trying hard. And trying hard means putting yourself out there. And if you put yourself out there, things might not be perfect or safe or comfortable anymore. You might get hurt, or you might simply fail altogether. And then you would have to face the reality of your failure. So instead, it's better to stay small and weak forever. But ego lifting is an excuse. Gains anxiety is real. Do you have it?